If you're wondering what on earth Jimi Hendrix has to do with jazz, let me start by saying that when John McLaughlin played with Miles Davis back in the late 60s, he actually took Miles to a Hendrix concert. And you know what? Miles was absolutely floored by Jimi's playing. As a result, there were talks of Miles doing a recording session with Hendrix. Unfortunately, Jimi passed on shortly after, and what promised to have been a historic reunion never came to fruition. So whatever magical new directions Jimi's playing might have taken, were he to still be alive, will simply have to be relegated to the depths of our imagination. Nonetheless, there are several unique clues in Jimi's playing that lead us to imagine what he might have sounded like if he kept evolving and eventually approached a jazz progression. And for starters, I'm talking mainly about the harmonic devices featured in his clean chordal playing. Think Little Wing. Or Castles Made of Sand. Jimi's chord work is full of harmonic elements that he picked up not only from the blues, but primarily from rhythm and blues guitarists. By the way, I hear a lot of these elements in what currently is being called neo-soul. And in this lesson, I am going to show you how they can easily be adapted to a sophisticated jazz progression. In doing so, I am going to give you a glimpse of what Jimi Hendrix might have sounded like using his style to play chords over a jazz standard. And I've even taken my Strat out of the closet to better do so. I'm Richie Zellon, and I'm happy to welcome you to the Jazz Guitar Channel. Next, I'm going to use the changes to All the Things You Are to show you those unique harmonic devices that made up Jimi's chordal style and how they can be applied to a jazz standard. And be sure to stick with me because right after I will break down several of the portions used therein into 2 5/1s that you too can use. So what did you think? Please be sure to leave me a comment down below. And that said, if you're a jazz purist and hated it, no offense taken. But for those of you who, like me, are still under Jimmy's spell, next let me teach you 3 2-5-1s from the progression I just played. And stick with me because before the end of the lesson, I have a special Hendrix jazz gift for you. All of these segments are to be played very legato. If you're familiar with Hendrix's music, as I'm sure you are, you know that he used a lot of hammer-ons, pull-offs, and slides, and we'll be doing a lot of that in all of these 2-5-1s. This first one I want to teach you is from the second, third, and fourth measure of All the Things You Are from what I just played previously. And it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So to break it down, I'm starting on B flat. It's a 2-5-1 in A flat major. And I'm thinking of this basic B flat minor bar chord, and I'm just doing a hammer on from the 4 to the 5 in the chord. And then I'm taking that whole concept up a whole step where I'm outlining the upcoming E flat chord, but then I go back to the original one. And then before I go to the 5 chord, I'm doing an E, a partial E9 chord, which slides half step down to E flat. And then I play. Yeah, that's typical rhythm and blues. I love this here because here I'm outlining the 13 on the E flat and the third. And that leads me to the 1 chord, the A flat. I hit the root first. So, this next one's a 2-measure 2-5-1. It's a minor 2-5 resolving to a major one, and it's from measures 6 and 7 of All the Things You Are. And it goes like this. Starts on a D minor 7 flat 5. 2, 3, 4. So what I'm doing here over this D minor 7 flat 5, I'm taking a partial chord, that is the chord that I'm using here without the root on the 5th string, and I'm sliding it up a whole step and sliding it back down over an 8th note triplet, and then I'm going to the G7 altered, and I'm doing this, also playing a partial chord on the first 3 strings. And that consists of the 3rd of the G, the B, the E flat, which is a flatted 13, and the sharp 9. And then I'm doing a kind of like a chord pull-off, which takes me to the C major 7 here. Simple. Before I teach you the final portion, I want you to know that you can download a study package featuring a PDF with the entire transcription of my initial neo-soul chord melody over the changes to All the Things You Are, and it includes both regular notation and detailed tab. Also included is an MP3 of me playing it and a band in a box file with the arrangement for those of you who have the software. In case you don't have band in a box, a MIDI file is also included, which you can use with MuseScore, and that's a free app that you can download. All of this is available for download for a minimum contribution from jazzguitar.richiezellon.com/premium, and you will find it under special lessons. And this 251 is from the second, third, and fourth measure of the C section of All the Things You Are. And it's in the key of A flat. So it's B flat minor, E flat 7, and A flat. And it goes like this: 3, 4. And in the original one, I actually, towards the end or the second half of the A flat chord, I do something over an altered chord, but I've changed it so you can use it over any regular 251. And I'm just adding this little slide here. Okay, so it starts like this, over the B flat minor, thinking of this shape, very simple. And I'm hammering on from the fourth of the scale on the fifth string to the fifth. And then playing the rest of the chord and sliding up and doing this little, what would we call that? It's actually a hammer-on, pull-off. Going to the E flat 7, placing the third down here, which is a G, and doing hammer-on and pull-off. Takes me from this E flat to the A flat major 7. It's an A flat major 7. Here's our 7th, our 3rd, 13, and 9. And as promised earlier, for those of you who are still with me, I have a special gift for you as a way of thanking you for supporting this channel through your views, likes, and comments. And for those of you not familiar with my recordings, during the 90s, I was very active as a performer and producer. And on my second CD, titled The Nazca Lines, I included a mini tribute to Jimi Hendrix, but from a Latin jazz perspective. And it features several great musicians such as saxophonist George Garzone and drummer Alex Acuna, who many of you might remember from his days with Weather Report. And today I want to share this with you. To make a long story short, several years ago, I just got fed up of being ripped off by Spotify and Apple Music, and I decided to actually give away my entire discography for free. Yep. So this is my special gift, including the Hendrix tribute, which you can download from www.richiezellon.com/downloads. And included is also an eclectic Beatles tribute album I did, and several other recordings featuring a host of great jazz musicians such as Dave Liebman, Jerry Bergonzi, Danilo Perez, Paquito de Rivera, and way too many others to mention. Well, that brings us to the end of this lesson. As usual, I thank you for your likes and comments and welcome any questions you may have. And if this is your first time on the Jazz Guitar channel and you enjoyed this lesson, please be sure to subscribe and be sure to click on that bell icon so you will be notified of my upcoming lessons. And until we meet again, practice, 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 and then practice some more. May peace be with you. Nos vemos pronto.